folks joining us virtually from all over the world, so that's why we've got this thing going on here up on the screen. So big shout out to those of you joining us online, so just wanted to say that. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so they can see what's going on too. So give me just a second here so that they can join us as well. All right, there we go. Wendy, is that good? Good to go? You can see my screen? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here to this link. This is going to take you to the resources. If you just want to make your way here, please note, too, that you can actually just go straight to the schedule. And on the schedule, if you go to this session where you found the session description and the session content, you'll be able to also, from there, get to this particular page. So it's another way for you to be able to get here, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave that up on the screen for just a second so that you guys can make sure you make your way. And I do want to point out just a really quick, couple of quick things on this. So the URL that you see on the screen, it is case sensitive. So if anyone ever shares a shortened Google URL like this one that starts with go.gl, they are all case sensitive, so you need to jot them down exactly as you see them on the screen. In fact, if you type it in differently, you will end up somewhere else. Someone once told me that they typed it in and they ended up on a dating site, and that's not where I'm trying to send you today. So make sure you use that capital G at the end there, and that way you'll end up on this page. Again, this is also linked on the doc that is linked directly in the session schedule, so you can always get it from there. I'm going to pull it down in just a second. If somebody comes in and sits next to you and asks, where is she, how can I get to her resources, let them know to go to the schedule, or that at the end of the session I will also pull up this link. Okay? All right, a couple more, about maybe another minute up there. I'll leave it there for you. I'm going to do my intro, meanwhile that stays up there. Once you land on this page, you'll actually find my contact information just above that link. My name is Monica Martinez. I'm the Regional Director for AdTech team, and I cover Southern U.S. and Latin America. And so we do a lot of these kinds of events like this one in those locations as well. And so if you are interested in making it down over into South America, you can check out online www.bigsummit.com to see what events we have going on in those particular regions. I also do a lot of work with the certification programs, like the trainer certification, also the level 1, level 2 Google certification programs for teachers, for educators. If you're interested in learning about any of those, I am doing a session tomorrow on the Google Educator program. So if you're looking to level up, check out this schedule, look for the Google Educator program section, and I'll be sharing some tips and resources, how to, a little bit more about it. All right, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and pull off this screen now. Again, if you have someone that comes in later, just let them know where to go, if you don't mind. I'll also pull up the link at the end. All right, so hopefully everyone's made their way there. You don't have to be there for this session, but it does give you access to the resources. So what you want to do is go over to the left-hand side, and you'll notice on the left that you have a whole bunch of different links. They're listed alphabetically. You're looking for the one that says Google A to Z. Google A to Z. Okay, so this is it right here. Once you find it, just go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to take you to the page that's dedicated to the resources for this particular session. FYI, there are some tools that have begun to get discontinued, or they're retired now, so you'll see some of them are marked that way. Also, as I discover new tools, I add them to this list, so it's something you can keep handy, because as I discover them, I just simply go back in and add them on there. So let me go ahead and join you. So you should be on a page that looks like this up at the top. It says Google A to Z, and then it's got a couple links up there at the top. Is everyone good to go? Everyone ready to get your Google on? Yeah? All right. Okay, so here we go. Has anyone here ever been to a demo slam before? You've been to a Gay Summit. You've probably seen one of those. So this is sort of like a demo slam on steroids. I'm going to be sharing just the different tools and resources with you. In this site, you have access to the links to the description, and in some cases, you even have some how-to be able to use that tool. So don't worry about that part. This is all about getting to know what other resources are out there that I could potentially use. And what's great about this list is for me anyway, it became a place of discovery. Like there's so many tools out there that a lot of people know. Like who knows about Gmail? Like everyone, right? Who knows about Google.com? Like we've all heard of those. But there's so many other really great tools within the Google ecosystem that aren't as well known. So that's what this session's about. We're going to go in and dive in and discover those tools. So I'm going to jump around. I'll call out the number, which is, I know, kind of odd because it's Google A to Z, and then I numbered them 1 through whatever number. Go figure, right? But okay, we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to start off with some of my favorites, and then we'll cycle back through some of the others. So I'll call out the number. Now, if you find the number before I do, feel free to shout it out so that everybody else can find it on the list, okay? So having said that, I'm starting off with my favorites. We're actually going to jump down towards like number 24 on the list, which is Google Art Project. Now, how many of you have used Google Art Project already? Any folks in here seen that? So this is a project that's a collaboration project with the Cultural Institute and Google. So it's number 24 on the list, called Google Art Project, okay? So all you will have to do is just click on the link that's there, and it'll take you right into the tool itself. So once again, this is called Google Art Project, collaborative project. And basically what they've done is aggregated the kinds of information you would find in a museum all into one database. This is part of the mission that Google has, is to organize the world of information. Well, in this case, what you find here is the kind of things you find in museums, which is what? What do you find in museums? Artwork, right? Paintings. What else? Sculptures. What else? Artifacts. You know, all different kinds of things like that. Well, imagine being able to come here and doing a search and finding that content here. So far, they've done 140 different museums. Or my favorite painter, or one of my favorite painters. Who can tell me who one of my favorite painters is? By my search. Van Gogh, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select the Starry Night there, and I'll let it load here. So what it's doing is it's going into its database, and it's looking for the Starry Night, and it's going to bring back some information as well as the painting itself, and so the painting appears here. It will let me know who the painter was, where this particular painting is currently hanging, which is in New York City at the moment. And you can even click it to be able to explore it a little bit further, because when you click into it, you'll find that over on the right-hand side is a smaller version of that same painting with a gray lever that's going to allow me to move it to be able to zoom into this particular painting. And when you do that, what's really cool is that you're getting the kind of detail that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get if you were there in person. Even if you walked around with a magnifying glass, they'd probably kick you out, right? They wouldn't let you get that close to these paintings. So it's starting to catch up there, so it is actually a little bit clearer than what we're seeing on the screen so far. But what's really cool here is that I can talk about shapes, I can talk about colors. I remember taking an AP English course in high school, and we had to learn a lot about the different motifs, and we had to look at the way these painters painted and the paint strokes, and how much paint they were actually dabbing onto the canvas and what that looked like in the end. So it was really, really cool, and this tool obviously would have been really helpful in studying that. So that's really neat that you get to explore it up close. But this little guy right over here is what I get really excited about. Now, who can tell me who this little guy is right here? I think I heard it. Street View. Okay. So whenever you click on Street View and you're inside of a Google Map, what does it do? So yeah, so it takes you down into the street level. So what do you think is going to happen here? We're going to jump into the museum itself, and we're going to be able to explore that entire exhibit, not just that one particular painting, but the actual exhibit floor where this painting is. So what's really great at this point is that you can actually do a tour and then do a contrast and comparison between all of the different Impressionist painters and all of their different paintings that are within the same motif, within the same time period, but be able to see the contrast and difference between all of those different paintings, even from the same artists, right? We know that there's an evolution of their work. So I want to point out a couple of extra features that you could use here that are really great. Down here at the bottom, you'll notice that you have a compare section. Whenever you pull up a painting, you can select the compare button, and it drops it for you into a window so that you can go and select another one, and then it puts it side by side so that you can actually do that comparison and contrast. The other feature that I like is this one right up here at the top called My Galleries. And this allows you, if you log into your Google account, it allows you to actually create your own gallery. So imagine doing a project where you're looking at the historical background of a historical figure or a different time period. You can actually go and collect all these different artifacts and sculptures and paintings from that time period and create your own art gallery. So there's lots of opportunity here to do some really cool things with that. So highly recommend exploring that. Those are just some of the features within this particular tool. There are definitely other features, but I just wanted to highlight some of those pros. What do you guys think about this tool? Pretty cool? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, before I leave this, I do want to point you to the left-hand side. There's what some of my colleagues call a caret. It's like the little V or a little arrow that's pointing down. This one right up here on the left-hand side drops down a menu, and you'll notice that there are other options that you can go in and explore. I highly recommend exploring the one called World Wonders. It is also on my list as one of my favorites. Highly recommend exploring this one. Because just like we did right now in exploring a museum, here you get to actually go out into the world and explore different parts of the globe, especially all of those really cool places that we always hear about and see like on the Travel Channel and all that. So this actually is going to showcase lots of really cool things like that. Everywhere where you see a blue dot is an area you can actually jump into and explore, which is really cool. Like you'll be able to jump in there and see different places. So you zoom out, you'll notice that some of those blue dots turn into a blue dot with a number. That lets you know there are 10 places to explore there, or 3 here, or 4 there. So it's just because you've zoomed out a bit. So just in the interest of time, we'll just jump into one here. And I'm going to take us over to Australia and over into the Great Barrier Reef. And there's my little friend again down here at the bottom. So we know we definitely want to go explore him, right? Jump in there, and wherever you see Street View, you click on that. And in this case, instead of going into a museum, guess what we're going to do? We're going to jump into the ocean, go down into the Great Barrier Reef, and get to explore the Great Barrier Reef, which right now is a total demo fail, but you get the idea, right? Right now on this side of the screen, we would be down in the ocean floor. So something happened there. It's probably just the connection. All right, so those were 2 different ones. There's more on that drop-down menu, so definitely explore those that you find there. Another database that I want us to quickly explore called Constitute Project. So if you just keep scrolling down, it's a little further down on the list. It's number 35, called Constitute Project. How many of you have heard of this one? Yeah, it's rare that I ever see a hand go up for this one. This is one of those unknown gems that I don't hear much about or people knowing about. So Constitute Project, number 35 on the list. So go ahead and click on that if you'd like. It's going to take you to a portal, once again, aggregating all kinds of information around constitutions. So all the constitutions from around the globe, from different countries that have been made public, are available here for you to be able to come in and do searches. So I'm just going to click on the Explore button so I can go ahead and jump in and explore this. And it's going to allow me to go ahead and search for a constitution. Now that's kind of cool, you know, being able to search all in one spot. But what I like is the fact that you can actually search by topic and not necessarily just by a constitution. But if I wanted to know, well, what do different constitutions have to say about, for example, freedom of expression? What do these different constitutions have to say about that? Well, all I have to do is come over to the left and actually type in freedom of expression and then do a search for that. And what it'll do is it's going to go into its database and find any constitution that has anything to say about that, and then it'll pull it back and give you the end results over on the right-hand side. Like with Art Project, you can actually select this radio button to actually do a comparison. You want it to compare what Afghanistan has to say about freedom of expression in comparison to what Angola has to say about freedom of expression. Then you can start to collect those, and it'll give it to you all in one sheet, which is pretty cool. Any questions on that one? Okay, then let's move along. All right, on to the next one. Next tool. All right, so once again, I'm going out of order, but now we are going to come back to number one. Number one, browser. Number one, body browser. I do highly recommend, don't worry about jumping into it now because you do have a little bit of setup to have to do, but just make note that it's number one. It is synced with your Google account, so you can actually just use your Google login to be able to jump into body browser. So what is body browser? The human anatomy, and using the tools on the left-hand side, you're going to be able to move through the different systems. So you can move through the endocrine system, the skeletal system, muscular system, etc. So all you have to do is just drag it down. You guys see what's happening on the screen there? Pretty cool. All right, you're just going through the different systems. The other cool thing is that you can come up to the top here and do a search. So for example, let's say I wanted to see more about the heart. What it'll do is it'll pop it out of the body that I have there so I could see it better. And with your mouse, you can actually turn this to see it in 3D. It's pretty cool, right? I got a reaction out of some of you. Yeah, it is pretty cool, right? Because, you know, a lot of times we use some of these tools and we're pointing to things and we say, well, that connects to this, but you can't even really see it, right? And so, or you're using multiple different pictures and it doesn't quite connect the dots as well as a 3D image does. So that's what's really cool about this particular program. Note that you can actually change from a female to a male, so you have both options to be able to pick from on here, okay? All right, so that is Body Browser, or also known as Zygote Body. That was number one on your list. All right, we're going to move into some YouTube stuff. I want to share some really cool YouTube tools that have been really helpful for me that I want to share with you guys. How many of you are using YouTube? Using videos? Okay, all right, so quite a few hands coming up you on YouTube. So let me scroll down and find some of those that we're going to look at. Starting off with number 6, YouTube channels. So go down to number 6. How's the pace for everyone? Good? Yeah? Remember, you have this database to come back to all those tools and explore them more, a little more in depth later on. All right, under number 6, you have a link to the YouTube channels. YouTube channels are dedicated spaces for each individual to be able to put in all of their videos. So when you upload your own videos into your YouTube account, as well as being able to create playlists of videos that other people have put up, but then you kind of sort of consolidate them into one particular list. Now, everyone with a Google account has a YouTube channel. So you all have YouTube channels if you have a Google account, okay? But also, on top of just, you know, users like us, there are associations, organizations, and companies that also have channels. And what that means for us is that we get to benefit from all of that content that they're putting out there. I remember my days as a classroom teacher where I used to have to go to the library to figure out what videos we had and then check that video out. And that's if the, you know, TV and VCR combo cart was even available, right? Well, now you have all of this accessible to you off of YouTube. So what the thing is, of course, is that there's so many videos out there. I just finished completing a YouTube creators course recently, and I learned that we've jumped from what used to be like 72 minutes of video footage per hour to 400 minutes of video footage uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's insane, right? Like, that's like a lot of content. So what I've done is I've created a database of YouTube channels by content area. So it's kind of like going to your librarian, right? Going to the library and saying, I'm looking for videos on this. So what you have to do here is just simply click on that link, and it'll open up a database. It's a spreadsheet. And down at the bottom of this spreadsheet, you're going to find that it's got links that you can link to be able to go from one to the other and to the other. All right, so it's just causing a little error. I think it's just the connection. There we go. All right, so down at the bottom, you're going to see some tabs that are going to load. And from the bottom, that's where you would pick. So I've got a tab for science, one for math, one for social studies, one for ELA. I've got some that are just general education, some that are specific to tech. And because I do work in Latin America, I do have one that I've started that's going to be in Spanish, another one in Portuguese. So there's some extras down there at the bottom. So when you click on any one of those down here at the bottom, what it'll do is it'll jump to that particular sheet, and it gives you all of these different YouTube channels that are specific to that content area. And so all you have to do at that point is you just go ahead and click on that link that's there. And don't take my word for it. I recommend that you go in there and explore that channel before you decide to actually subscribe to that channel. So here's one called The Curious Engineer. And so they put up videos around science and engineering concepts. And so you can actually come through here and take a look at a few, and if it matches not only the content, but actually the level at which your students would comprehend the information that's being shared, then at that point you can decide if you want to subscribe to that channel. And by subscribing, by simply clicking on that red button, by subscribing, what will happen is that when you go to YouTube, those videos from that channel will automatically feed into your channel, so they become easily accessible. Okay, so you can just go in and you'll find them there, as opposed to you having to go to the video store or going to the library to go find those videos. They come to you because you subscribe to that channel. Okay. All right, so that's one database or one resource for you is that database that I just mentioned there, the YouTube channels database. In addition to that, I have some other YouTube resources I want to share with you that are on our list. So we're going to scroll all the way down into the 30s, and we're going to explore a couple of other tools that we have on here. So I went too far. Let me come back up a little bit. All right, it is number 32 is where we're going to explore a little here. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just take a look at a quick video here because it relates to showing videos and resources for videos. So let's listen in on this video. Can we get the audio for the video? I'm not hearing it. For the laptop? What? Hit play? Yeah, that would be good. But I'm hitting the audio. Like I can't hear I should hear the clicks. Ah! Oh, cover your ears because I'm about to plug it back in. I think it's going to sound bad. Cover your ears. Oh, or maybe not. Yeah, okay. It's there, but no audio. I should hear the clicking. No, I know how to.
Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Yes, that.
What's that? Okay. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, let's rewind this little guy. And sorry about the noise there. Okay, here we go. All right, so this next tool I'm going to share with you is not going to make you as awesome as that mom by any means. But what I am going to show you is how to avoid embarrassing potential moments when you pull up a video. Because when you pull up a video on YouTube, what are you worried about? Aside from streaming, what are you worried about? Ads. What else? What? Oh gosh, yeah, okay, yeah, that. What else? So what's below the video? Comments that are sometimes inappropriate, right? And what's over to the side? Some quote-unquote related videos that I really sometimes wonder how on earth is that video related to what I'm trying to show, right? And then at the end of your video, it puts tiles of all these other videos too, right? So plenty of opportunities to have an embarrassing moment. So let's solve that issue, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this link, this video that we just watched. I'm just going to take that link. I'm going to copy it. Remember, we're on number 32. One of the tools under number 32 is called SaveShare.tv. SaveShare.tv. What I'm going to do is simply put my link down here at the bottom and then click on Generate Safe Link. What do you think is going to happen here? We're trying to create a safe environment. So instead of having all those things around our video and the potential, embarrassing moments, I'm going to clear all of that clutter. So this tool is going to get rid of everything and gives me this view right here, which is pretty much nothing but the video. No ads, no comments at the bottom, no videos on the side. Pretty sweet, right? And guess what? You can share this video or this link instead of the YouTube video so that when you want to share this or you are pulling it up, it goes directly to this page and not to YouTube. So it is a safe view. Under number 32, I've given you two options. It's Save Share TV and View Pure as two options that you can pick from. So you have two different tools that you can explore and see which one you like best. Pretty sweet, right? I like it. It's a pretty cool little tool there. Yeah? We've got some online folks joining us here that are saying they like it too. Yeah, it's a really, really great, easy to use, solves the problem for sure. All right, so that was number 32 on the list. You've got two options to pick from there. All right, we're going to move on to some other resources on our list. Another really quick one that happens to be a YouTube one. Talk about embarrassing moments there. First one that pops up. Okay, so YouTube Time Machine on the list is pretty close to that one. It's number 30 on the list. I just quickly want to share this with you because if you were looking for a video from a certain time period, notice I just grabbed the lever and I'm moving it over to, let's land right on 1912. And what it's going to do is it's going to go back into its database and it's going to look for any video that would have been either created in or has something associated to do with 1912. Now that doesn't mean they uploaded it to YouTube in 1912, obviously, but it has something to do with 1912. So when people upload videos, they put tags. It's not like when you have a photo and you say, summer vacation 2016. Well, you've put those tag words now. I can search for summer and vacation and 2016 and be able to find those photos. It's the same thing with videos. So whoever uploaded this video, if they put the word 1912 in it, that's how this tool found it. So I'm finding videos by the time period. Okay? All right, and if you don't like that one, that wasn't it, you click this big blue button to say, play me another one from 1912. Notice you also have filters to be able to turn things on or off so that you can decide, I want videos from 1912, but none of them should be video games. I don't want current events. I don't want sports. You can add filters to your search. Okay, any questions on that one? I heard something, but I didn't hear the question. Louder? What? What number? Oh, what number is that? I believe it was, what, 30 or something like that? Yep, woo, good memory, 30. Number 30 on the list. That was number 30. Okay, all right, let's see. We've got until, my time on here says 6:59 p.m. That's my time back in Texas. I think we have until what? 2:30, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Yeah? Awesome. We're doing great. We've got like half an hour still. You guys want to see more? All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's move on to a couple more on the list here. I'm going to come back up towards the top, see what we've missed on the list. Some of them, like I said, have been retired that I'm really sad about, like Teach Parents Tech. That was one of my favorites for sure. All right, we're going to go, let's do a fun one here. Let's do number 5 on the list. It's called Let Me Google That For You. How many of you have ever been asked a question that you thought to yourself, really, you couldn't just look that up yourself on Google? Like, right? Like, couldn't you have just looked it up yourself? That happens to me all the time. So this particular tool here, let me Google that for you. Number 5 will solve that problem of people asking you questions that they could Google themselves. So for example, if somebody came up to me and asked me, who is the President of the United States, I would simply type that in here and then click on the Google search button. Normally what would happen, it would of course conduct the search and then give you the answer, right, within the responses. Except that this time, it gives us a link. So we're going to copy that link, and we're going to email this person that asked us this ridiculous question. And they're going to click on the link that you've sent them, and this is what's going to happen when they open up that email and click on the link. So it types it in for them. It even gives them the steps down here at the bottom. It says, was that so hard, really? There you go. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so I anticipate that some of you are going to be playing some jokes on some of your colleagues, which is good. Definitely having some good fun there. But I do want to point out that I actually also use this tool to teach information literacy and how to better search the web. So when I actually come to the tool itself to conduct the searches, I will do things like the following. So if somebody came to me and said, Monica, I'm going to be doing a lesson and I want to be able to search for certain content. Okay, and so I'm going to be doing this, by the way, I do have a search session tomorrow where I'm going to be talking more about this kinds of stuff. So if I was doing a search, for example, for a very particular type of file, you told me I'm going to do a lesson, I want to be able to do a presentation. Well, presentations are what kinds of files, typically? So PowerPoint, right? The PPT or PPTX are the file extensions for those. So if I type in file type colon PPT, and then let's say we were looking for information on US presidents, and what I'm telling the search engine here is to go search the web for content on US presidents, but specifically PowerPoint presentations. Okay, so when I click on search, of course here it's just giving us the link, right? But what I end up with as a resource, as a link that I'm now going to use as a reference for the people that I'm teaching, I'm just going to say, look at this example. This is what's going to happen. What we saw earlier, of course, it actually goes in and it types it in. But what's great about this is that it helps you remember, because we can go over this, but then people forget, was there a space there? Was there not a space there? How did we put it in for it to actually work properly? So this is my little tutorial. I don't have to actually create it myself. It just did the work for me. And here are your results. Every single listing of anything that's a PowerPoint presentation on anything related to US presidents. Pretty sweet. Did all that work for me. Usually if you just go to Google and type in US presidents, you get like billions of results. And this one definitely narrows it down, at least to only PowerPoint presentations. So it's pretty sweet. So I use this particular tool, let me Google that for you, to generate searches specific to search operators to teach information literacy. But of course, you need to play a joke on someone, so definitely do that. All right, how many of you here teach the elementary grade levels or up to middle school, elementary and middle school? Okay, all right, even if you're in high school, actually, this could be, you know, kind of an introduction to anything in relation to instructions and processes and programming. And so we're going to jump over to Blockly. And if you find it first, please call it out. It's going to explore engineering concepts, but it's definitely for the younger kiddos. But I like how it just shows you an easy way to explore how programming works. All right, anyone find it? 23, thank you. I like totally passed it. Okay, there we are. Number 23, Blockly. All right, so if you click on that link there, it's going to take you to like a portal of listing of different games you can pick from. Okay, so it'll take you there, and I've already actually jumped into one, which is the maze. But you have different types of games that you can play. So I'm clicking on the maze here, which is this one right here. And this is really simple, basic programming. This is how programming works. So you pretty much just stack up by dragging and dropping the instructions for what you would have to do to go from point A to point B. So we're trying to move our little peg man from here over to the little red little pin, right? So I've dropped into already move forward, move forward. So 2 move forward should get me there, right? So let's run the program and see if we did it right. And if we did, he dances, he's all happy. Now this is what I like about this, is that it gives me the actual JavaScript. So aside from actually knowing, and understanding the concept of you have to actually, give it instructions to do it, it actually shows you exactly how the script would be written. I didn't grow up in the world of programming, but I did get exposure to HTML because I used to do web design, but I got into web design when Adobe already existed with Dreamweaver, so there's a lot of functions that you don't need to code yourself. So what I had to do to learn how to get around that was to just go into the code itself and look through the code to find what does that look like visually, and then learn, okay, what do I have to put into the code to make it look like that? And that's how I've learned to actually do some of this kinds of programming. It's kind of a backwards way to do it, but nonetheless, hey, that's the way I was able to learn it, because these kinds of tools didn't exist yet. So it's so cool that you get to see what I just did, what we just saw, what does that actually look like in coding. So that's why I like these particular kinds of tools like this. I do have a link off of my site that has a lot of tools like this that are specific to coding that I'll reference here at the end in case you're interested in more of these kinds of tools. All right, you guys, how are you doing? Good? Yes? Still moving along, trucking along? Okay. All right, let's go explore some more stuff. You saw that actually had a couple of different things you could look at, more than just the one. So because a lot of the stuff that we're looking at here and a lot of what we do is we pretty much live and breathe, almost all of this stuff is online, right? So we have to make sure that we address digital literacy and citizenship. It's so important as we just migrate almost completely onto the web. So I'm going to point you to a really great resource, number 26. That's a course. It's a 3-part course that you can explore to be able to not just learn more about like how the web comes together, but really how to be a better digital citizen. So we're going to look at just a little section of this here in a second. But I do remember myself when I first got online, nobody taught me what was right and what was wrong, and I certainly didn't know, like, what were the best practices for searching. I mean, you just kind of got thrown into it, right? I think we all did as a generation. So, so this is a really cool course. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to take a quick look. So 3 courses. Class number 1, become an online sleuth. What does that mean, So this is all about being able to determine whether or not sources and websites that you're looking at and searching at for your research projects, being able to determine if those sites are credible or not. That's a super important skill, right? Because anyone can put content on the web. So you need to be able to decipher between what is credible information and what isn't. So class number 1 teaches you that. It teaches you those types of skills to be able to become a really great searcher. Class number 2 is all about your digital footprint. Being able to determine between like when I can do something that I'm safe doing versus when it's not. Being able to become more conscious of going into your settings and changing your settings and adjusting them to make sure that you and your data is protected. So that's what class number 2 is all about. What kinds of information do I leave behind when I'm on a site? What should I be aware of, etc. Okay? And class number 3 is all about being able to identify all of those scams that we've all seen online, right? From our generation, you guys remember that email that you would receive from your friends that would say, if you forward this to 10 people, you'll have good luck for the rest of your life? Yeah? Yeah, right? We used to get those, and what would we do? Some of you are guilty. Some of you are guilty, right, of forwarding that message to like a ton of your friends, right? Because I used to get those from some of my friends and be like, really? So this has now evolved. I'm sure you've all seen this on Facebook. How many of you are on Facebook? Okay, lots of us. All right, so on Facebook, what you've probably seen now is where you see a post and it says, oh my gosh, if you click like, wait until you see what happens to this picture. What do you think happens to that picture? Nothing, right? Like nothing happens at all, except that when you like that picture, that now appears on your wall, which your friends see, and some of your friends are also going to fall for it and click on it. And so what's happening is it's a marketing scam. So more and more people are clicking like, so that all of a sudden became viral, right? So you just fell for, you know, something that didn't really do anything. So class number 3 is all about identifying those kinds of tricks and scams for online. So pretty cool, 3-part course, completely free. Comes with the videos, presentations, and activities. I would recommend that you use this probably 5th grade, maybe on up, because of the reading level of the information. However, if you teach younger kiddos, you could certainly go in there and sort of break it apart, digest it, and use certain pieces that would still be applicable for younger users. Okay? Any questions on this class, on this course? I love that you could easily send your kids and just say, go online, take these 3 courses, or that you could actually go in there and take apart the presentations, because they come in Google Slides, and you can just pull in the slide deck that you want or leave the rest out or what have you. So pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right. Next up. Okay, let's see what else we're going to explore here. All right, we're going to scroll down a little bit. Let's lighten this up with some cool little things here. I know I'm going to lose you, but I'm okay with that. We're about 15 minutes till. I know I'm going to lose some of you. I definitely know this is going to happen, but that's okay, because this is one of my favorites. Anyone explored Androidify? I'm sure all of you have seen these little Android guys that you can customize. So the idea behind number 50 is that you get to create your own Android avatar. And I've actually heard from teachers who've used this to do like some really great beginning of the year activities, intro activities. It's just such a fun little tool. So if you pull that open, they'll take you here where you get to decide how your Android is going to look, how it'll animate, you know, what clothes it's going to wear, all that kind of fun stuff. And so all you have to do is come down here to the bottom, green button, click on Create, and it'll start you off so that you can select the Android that you want to go with. And then from there, it takes you over to the page that lets you start picking like the shoes and the clothes and all that kind of good stuff. So here's our little guy. Let's just start dressing him up. I'm just picking random stuff here. You can put on. That's kind of funny. A flannel shirt with heels. I love it. All right, and then we can just, you know, yeah, totally. I'm totally digging this one. Yeah, little multi-personality there. And then all you have to do once you're done, you come over here to the right-hand side. You'll see that there's a Next button up at the top. You click on that little guy there, and it'll take you to the animations. So it's going to load all your animations down here at the bottom, which may take a second because of the connection here. But so here are some of those that you can pick from. You can actually scroll through a whole bunch more. So you select your animation. Once you like it, this is my rocker animation. Totally cool. All right, and we come up to the top right, click on Done. And it's going to give you some options for sharing, which is pretty cool. It does ask you to say whether or not you're 13 or above, and that's because you can connect it to Google+, but you don't have to. Using this with younger kiddos, you don't have to actually put it into Google+. Google+ requires that you be at least 13 years or older, but not to use this tool necessarily. So you can still check it and hit Submit, and then be able to use the little Android. Okay? So you don't have to connect it to Google+. So what this is going to do is it's going to create your avatar, and it's going to give you a couple of different options. There's one option that is a download option, another one that's an email, and then a couple to social media. I recommend, especially for younger kiddos, but for anyone really, to definitely download and then also email, because when you download, then you can attach it as if it were a photo to a Google site or to a Google slideshow, and it'll animate when you actually add it to a slideshow. So it could be right in the middle of your slide deck, and it'll actually animate when you're showing your slide deck, which is really cool. It'll do the same thing if you email it, it gives you the link. You can always just link to that photo. So it's the same thing that way. So whether you download or use the link. Okay? Any questions on that? Does what now? In Google Classroom, it'll show up as your profile picture if you change your profile picture to this one, and it will animate in there. Yes, so in Google Classroom, it would work that way. Yeah. Any other questions on this one? Who have I lost? I've already lost you. You're not even looking at me anymore. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Okay, well, speaking of fun ones, this tool came out in 2012. It's just one of those random tools, and it used to be called, it was like a phone call to Santa is what it used to be, and now it's called Santa Tracker. It is number, I want to say 12 on the list, so it's pretty far up. I could be wrong. If anyone finds it, please yell it out. Oh, yep, number 12. Wow, dude, my memory's like on it today. Okay, so number 12, it used to be called, again, Personal Call from Santa, now called Santa Tracker. So this guy really doesn't become active until December 1st. And the idea is that it's going to track what's going on in the North Pole. You can play a whole bunch of games, and then on Christmas Eve, it actually uses Google Maps to track Santa, which is really cool. So this is just one of those random fun ones, which I just think it's so cool. Like, someone at Google just decided, hey, let's just do this, right? So it's pretty cool. I've actually used it during December, and it is fun. It is a lot of fun. So with your younger kiddos, you can definitely explore that one. All right, any designers in the room? Photoshop, graphic designers, any of that kind of stuff? Anyone who likes to edit photos and make them better? Okay, more hands coming up. All right, I'm going to point this one out to you. It's called Pixlr. Pixlr lets you edit your photos. It's one of several that are on this list, and for the life of me, I don't remember that number. If anyone finds it, please call it out. Pixlr, P-I-X-L-R. Somebody just said it. What? 16. Thank you so much. Number 16 on the list. So the reason why I want to point this one out is because Pixlr syncs with your Google account, meaning you don't need another username and password, because who wants that, right? So that's cool, and it saves it onto Pixlr, but via your Google account. And two, the other reason why I want to show this to you is because if you're using Photoshop, or anyone that you know that's using Photoshop, please share this tool with them, because this one's 100% free. And it's close to being as sophisticated, not quite as sophisticated, but it has some really good sophisticated photo editing features. So it's a really great resource, and it's free. Number 16 on the list. Number 16. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. I don't think I'm going to do that one. All right. Let's do custom search engine. This might take a little bit of time, but I think it's so worthwhile. You know what? I'm going to do that during search. I'm going to save that one. But for those of you who might not make it to my search session, it's called Custom Search Engine. It's up towards the top. This is to create your own search engine. So instead of sending people to google.com to conduct searches, you can actually create your own search engine. And I want to say it is towards the top. Anyone find it? Number 8. Thank you. Number 8. So you have a video there that I'll show you. But if you want to come learn how to do it and set one up, I will be doing a search session tomorrow where we'll actually be doing that. Number 8, create your own custom search engine instead of sending people to google.com. All right. Any Gmail users in here? Gmail. All right, hands coming up, hands coming up. Okay, awesome. So I've got 2 tools for you, Boomerang and Banana Tag. Boomerang and Banana Tag are listed under here we go. Number 11, which is a reference to the Chrome Web Store, and there's a whole bunch of different ones on that list. And then you'll see Boomerang and Banana Tag on that list. Okay. All right. So Boomerang. Let me just go ahead and jump over to my email here. When I compose a message, let's say that I'm drafting up this message now, but it needs to go out first thing Monday. But first thing Monday, I'm going to be at an event. I'm not going to be at my email, and I certainly don't want to stress about it, about sending out this email. It could be, you know, it's a parent letter, and this is when it needs to be up. It could be some maybe links to some activities and lessons that I want my kids to get right before second period, but no time sooner than that, right? And sometimes those times happen when we're busy, we don't want to stress. So what it is going to let me do, Boomerang lets me schedule when this email is going to go out. So I can draft it up when I'm ready to do it, and then schedule it and say, I want you to actually send this later on, and you're going to send it in, and then you select from the menu option, or you tell it, I want you to send it on this date at this time. So I'm going to say, let's come down here again, this date, this time, confirm, it takes care of it for me. I don't have to mess with it anymore. So it sits in your outbox until that date and that time, and then it sends it out. Okay? Any questions on that? So the link that I've provided to you off of this site is what you need to be able to get to install it. So you go here and then just simply go add this to your Gmail. You may have to log out and log back into Gmail in order for it to actually activate the screen that you need to do to say accept and activate and so forth. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty simple. All right, banana tag. Ever wonder if someone's read your email? You sent someone an email and you're wondering, did they read it? Did they get it? Not sure. Banana tag allows you to track the email, and unlike some of the other tracking systems, this one doesn't let the other person know that you're tracking their email. It doesn't say reader wants a send receipt, and it doesn't tell you that that person has been tracking, right? So never again lie to anyone about opening up an email that you received that that you did already see. Never again lie, because you never know if they're using this tool. So banana tag here, it will track it, but it'll only do 3 per day. Quite honestly, if you need more than 3 per day, I think you're a little bit of a stalker. Just saying. But 3 per day, I think, is sufficient. I mean, I see it useful for things that are time sensitive. You want to make sure that that's been seen and it's been opened. And what's really cool is that within the free features, it also lets you know, like, if you put a link in there to like a document, a homework assignment, or here's a summary of what happened, and you want them to make sure that that parent not only got your email but read the summary. Then it'll actually reply to you and say, hey, this person not only opened it, but they clicked on your link. So that's pretty cool. Okay. All right, so those were 2 of my favorites specifically for Gmail. Okay, all right. I do want to point out from the items that are on here, if you go all the way down towards the bottom, you'll start to see that there is a listing that sort of more like a spreadsheet. So you'll see more items down here at the bottom. Some of them you might find some repeats as well, but definitely some more items down here to explore. I recently started reorganizing all of this, and so if you go up to the top, you'll find where it also says doc with these tools, and if you actually click on that link, it's going to take you to a page that forces you to make your own copy, so you'll have your own copy, and then you can edit as needed if you wanted your own copy. But what this is just a doc where I've started sort of cleaning it up, removing some of the discontinued items, adding some newer things. Eventually, this is going to be dropped into the actual page you're currently on, so don't worry about necessarily having to track it. But if you wanted that list now, that's where it is. So that's why I wanted to share that with you. But I want to give you a quick little tip as far as how I've been able to discover some of these tools. One has been, of course, coming to conferences like this and being involved in these. A lot of my colleagues, they do a lot of work too, and they do, they're experts in different areas, and so I learned from them. Like today alone, I learned of a new tool that I was like, hey, that's really cool. So I'm going to add it to my Google A to Z list. And that's how this list really came together. It was learning from others. It was being in those demo slams in the audience. I'm like picking up like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that tool existed, And suddenly it was like this list just grew and grew and grew and grew, right? Like, how many of you learned something new today in this session, like a new tool, right? Like, there's so many really great things. So I've learned from colleagues, from just collaborating with them. The other way that I've learned is that Google lets you sort of just kind of search as if you were just going to go to, like we normally do, google.com. You put a / at the end. And if you just give it a go, You never know, because what they've done is for like maps. If you were to type in maps, it redirects you back to the correct link of Google Maps. You were to put in books here, even though that's not the correct link, but because I've typed in google.com/books, it'll redirect me back to books.google.com, which is the correct URL. So if you simply just type in www.google.com, that's too many W's, okay, google.com/, if you're looking for fonts, give it a go. Type in fonts. And if they have something for it, like in this case that they do, you're going to find a database full of all kinds of cool fonts that you can use for your docs and your slides. And you can even download these and use them put them on your computer. So google.com/, give it a go, and see what happens. So that's my suggestion to you, to just, you never know what you might discover, some new things, by simply typing in that way. All right. We have a few minutes left. What I'm going to do is open this up to questions and also feedback. Anyone have a tool that you didn't see here today that you want to share with the group? So I'm opening this up to anyone online as well as anyone here in the audience. So any tool you want to share with anyone. Any good ones out there that you've seen? Any online? Do we have any online? Coming in? They're coming in? Awesome. By the way, on the list, obviously we didn't cover all of them in the time that we had here. An hour goes by really, really fast. But feel free to explore all the other ones that are on the list there. A ton more. And for those of you today in the afternoon, if you're still kind of like trying to decide if you're going to stick around for Demo Slam, expect like this, but like way, way like geekier and like just crazier, because it's one presenter after the other, you know, with only 3 minutes to be able to come up here and wow you. And so they're showing off like just some really cool things. So that's what you can expect from the Demo Slam this afternoon. All right, you guys, do you have any questions? Any questions on any of what we looked at? I'm going to stick around up here at the front in case you do have a question. So feel free to come right back up here. Just once again, want to do another shout out to the folks who joined us online. Thanks for being with us during this hour. And I know there's some online stuff going on. There was a back channel on today's meet where people were showcasing and sharing some resources. If you guys want to check out some of what they were sharing and what they were talking about, it's this todaysmeet.com site /edtech-team. All the online stuff, they're going to be chatting on that back channel, so you can always join them or share and collaborate with them off of that link there.
So, share Google Street View as a favorite from your list.
Oh, nice. Street View, nice. Yeah, I love Street View too. Yeah, for sure. All right, you guys, I'm going to end with this video here. Like I said, I'm going to stick around in case you have any questions, but here's my ending video.
Emma. 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 Emma.
Yeah, it goes to show paper's not going to go out of style anytime soon, right? All right, you guys, thanks so much. If you tweeted out, shared out a resource, we are doing a badge challenge, which I have up here. So if you've been tweeting, sharing these resources, come get your badge. And if you haven't, do it now, and then come right up here and get your badge. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica. Thanks, everyone. We're starting our next session on air coming up here in a half hour. So join us back in the back channel, and also check the link for admin console and the feel free to put your hashtag in, guys. Thanks for all the work back channel. Also, thanks for coming here. Thanks, Becky, for all the great ideas. Thanks, everybody, for being in more and then if you want to really stick around, we can also do the demo site after our last We'll definitely be going on